Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria City Council is scheduling public hearings on the tax rate, how you have a chance to weigh in. Plus a water treatment change in Victoria, the special considerations for certain residents. And Texas Democrats face fines and arrest warrants, the redistricting fight that has gone national.
We are looking at, of course, our hot weather, which doesn't change much for the month of August. But all of a sudden in the Atlantic, there's stuff moving. We'll be talking about the tropics coming up in a moment.
And meteorologists and radar techs get hired back. The National Weather Service staffing turnaround. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shauna Curry. Well, property taxes and budget are main topics of focus at tonight's Victoria's City Council meeting. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting is live at City Hall to explain the possible impact on residents, as well as an election involving local first responders. Trenton?
Yes, Shauna, the City of Victoria is proposing new tax rates today, increasing property rates as much as they can without requiring voter approval. The new proposed tax rate is about 48 cents per $100 valuation. Any tax over that rate would require an election. The city is expecting some new revenue. It's over the no new revenue rate of about 47 cents. The city will hold public hearings for this tax rate on September 2nd and September 9th at 5 p.m. in the City Council chambers. The city will also hold a public hearing for a possible special election for a collective bargaining agreement between the city and the Victoria Fire Department. The Victoria Firefighters Association says the agreement could help them negotiate with the city as an equal entity, potentially helping them with recruiting and retention. If accepted, the special election will be November 4th. There's a $60,000 budget for that election. The city is meeting now and will have any available updates on 25 News Now at 6. Reporting live from the City Hall courtyard, Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
This brings us to our viewer poll. How should the city prioritize the new tax revenue? Is it public safety, police and firefighters, infrastructure such as roads and water, lowering future taxes, or community services like parks and libraries? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to let us know what you think. And right now, 66% of voters, 2/3, say lowering future taxes, the other third infrastructure. So continue voting, and we'll have another look at those numbers coming up on 25 News Now at 6. The City of Victoria is switching back to its usual water treatment process on August 12th. For the past month, the city used straight chlorine, which they call a routine chlorine burn, to clean the system. That process happened earlier than expected this year after a boil water notice. Now it is going back to using chloramines, which is a mixture of chlorine and ammonia. Most people will not notice a difference, but some may catch a slight change in taste or smell. If you're on dialysis or have an aquarium, you may need to adjust your water setup. Well, if you're swerving to avoid potholes every day, you're not alone. We spotted these troublemakers yesterday at East 1 Lynn and Odom Streets right in the middle of a rainy day. If you have one on your daily route, snap a photo or video and send it our way. We'll add it to the next round of pothole patrol. We'll follow up next week to see what's been fixed. So let's keep the pressure on together. Email us at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Crews are fixing a broken gas line in Cuero this evening. The leak forced some city residents to evacuate this afternoon near Frederick Williams and Broadway streets. People are being asked to avoid the area while crews make repairs. Officials say restoration could take up to 6 hours. The leak was reported by a contractor working in the area. The special legislative session in Texas is on hold for a second day, with Democrats protesting the state's new congressional maps. The maps are expected to help Republicans keep or gain seats in the U.S. House, where the hold is a slim majority. Even President Trump is weighing in. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
Today, defiant Democratic state lawmakers from Texas facing threats of arrest and fines for fleeing their state.
I'll pay that price for America.
The Democratic lawmakers are holed up in states like Illinois, holding up Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Republican lawmakers who want to redraw the state's congressional maps with the intention of helping Republicans nationally. Behind the redistricting effort, President Trump, as he tries to keep Republican control of the U.S. House of Representatives. The president on CNBC Today.
We have good people in Texas, and I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
I don't know.
Democrats arguing Republicans are not entitled to more seats in Congress.
Let me just be really clear about this. No party is entitled to any district. We have to go out and earn the votes, and that's what a democracy is about.
Both parties try to redraw congressional maps for their own political advantage, but the maps are typically only reconsidered once a decade to reflect changes in population from the latest census. The Texas maps are under consideration in the middle of that cycle and 1 year ahead of the midterm elections.
We're defending the rights of all Americans to value their vote and never be discouraged by way of a map drawn to say that your vote doesn't matter.
Democratic Texas lawmakers each face a $500 penalty for each day they miss the special session. Officials there have called for the civil arrest of the absent lawmakers, trying to compel their return.
There's several other issues we want to get to, but they left the state. We can't get to any of it now.
Republican U.S. Senator John Cornyn today sent a letter to the FBI asking for help locating the Democratic Texas state lawmakers who have fled and calling for an investigation into any, quote, potential criminal acts. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Attorney General Ken Paxton will ask for a court ruling declaring vacant the seats of any lawmakers who are not back to work by Friday. He said that in a press release today. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. Well, some trouble could be brewing in the tropics soon. It's been relatively quiet up until now. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at our weather. Mac?
You bet. Well, thank you very much. This has been a very unusual tropical storm season where we're so late in August and hardly anything's happening. But all of a sudden, right about here, there's a good potential that this will become Hurricane Erin, E-R-I-N. Now I say that, but that's probably 5-6 days away, but the computer models are in good agreement that this will develop. At this point in time, let's just say the following. It's going to be turning, but it may get awful close to the Carolinas in about 5 to 7 days. So let's just say that this one has a little bit of the U.S. mainland in store for its path. So we'll be taking a closer look at that and taking a closer look at your hot weather coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Shauna.
The National Weather Service is reversing course and hiring back hundreds of workers after big cuts and a federal hiring freeze. They are bringing on 450 meteorologists, hydrologists, and radar techs, including 126 new positions already approved and funded. These roles are considered mission critical to keeping the public safe. Earlier this year, more than 500 weather staff were cut or forced into retirement under the Trump administration. Evacuation warnings are in place in Southern California. The Gifford Fire in San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties covers more than 82,000 acres. It is now the largest wildfire in California this year. State fire officials say the blaze was only 7% contained as of this afternoon. Officials say hundreds of structures are threatened by the fire. The Gifford Fire started as a series of small fires that broke out last Friday along Highway 166. The cause is under investigation. The man accused of killing 4 people in Tennessee and sparking a week-long manhunt is now in custody. Officers arrested 28-year-old Austin Drummond after residents spotted him in the woods near Jackson, Tennessee. He's accused of killing 4 relatives of a baby who was later found alive and abandoned. The TBI thanked state, local, and federal partners for helping with the capture. The victims' bodies were found July 29th in Tiptonville. Today, the United States Coast Guard released a report on the Titan submersible implosion. They say it was preventable. 5 people were killed in that disaster that captured international attention when the vessel disappeared. The submersible's wreckage was later found on the ocean floor. Michael Yoshida reports on the 300-plus page report's findings, including evidence of potential criminal activity.
The United States Coast Guard releasing its findings on the Titan submersible, which imploded during a June 2023 dive to the Titanic, killing 5 people. The 335-page report is based on information from public hearings over 2 weeks last September.
One of the days he was crying on my shoulder. It's going to take too long and way too expensive.
According to the report, the deaths were, quote, preventable, and responsibility for the implosion lies largely at the feet of OceanGate, the operator of the Titan. The Coast Guard describes a, quote, toxic workplace culture, as well as an inadequate design, certification, maintenance, and inspection process. This video showing when OceanGate employees heard a bang at the moment of implosion. According to the report, it took more than 7 hours for authorities to be notified the Titan was missing. 4 days later, the wreckage was found. Investigators laying out a dozen reasons for the disaster, including a failure to investigate after significant damage to the carbon fiber hull during previous dives. The report also details efforts to avoid regulatory scrutiny.
He said I would buy a congressman and make basically the problems would go away.
The Coast Guard says OceanGate CEO and pilot of the Titan, Stockton Rush, may have been subject to criminal liability if he had survived. OceanGate, which has suspended operations, releasing a statement offering condolences to the families of those lost. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida.
Investigators also putting a spotlight on government agencies, which they say missed an opportunity to intervene after a 2018 whistleblower complaint. The investigative board now calling for increased regulatory requirements for submersibles. Remember to subscribe to the Crossroads Today YouTube channel, hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 5, the FBI releases new crime data, the surprising numbers, and one troubling exception. Plus, emergency rooms see record tick bite cases. We'll take a look at what's driving the dangerous increase. Violent crime in the U.S. dropped in 2024. That's according to new FBI data. Murders were down nearly 15%, robberies down 9%, and property crimes also fell, contrary to claims made during Donald Trump's campaign last year. But there was one troubling rise: assaults on law enforcement. Those jumped to nearly 86,000 last year, a 10-year high. The FBI is now digging into what is behind the spike. Watch out for fake Labubus. That's the warning from the Better Business Bureau. Scammers are cashing in on the toy's popularity, with over 70 people reporting they got knockoffs or nothing at all. The BBB says to stick with trusted retailers and be cautious of deals that look too good to be true. You can find more information on the Better Business Bureau website. Tick bites are on the rise across the U.S., hitting their highest emergency room numbers in 8 years. The CDC is also seeing a steady increase in Lyme disease cases. Experts point to climate change, saying warmer temperatures and higher humidity are helping ticks spread to new areas where people may not be used to dealing with them. And it's not just ticks. Mosquito-borne illnesses like West Nile and malaria are also on the rise. For some students, back to school means back to those boring breakfasts and lunches. So if your child gets sick of the same cereal in the morning, that turkey sandwich in the afternoon, you're not alone. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has healthy and easy meal ideas to spice up any school day.
In the classroom, you want your child to do their best, so set them up for success before they even head to school.
We want our kids to be able to focus, and to be able to focus, we want to make sure that their bellies have something in them.
Catherine Sherry with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program says healthy meals should have protein, healthy fats, fiber, and some carbohydrates. For breakfast, Sherry says to make whole wheat toast more exciting by adding nut or seed butter and some sliced fruit like bananas and strawberries. You can also make a breakfast burrito, add some egg and veggies, maybe some avocado and a side of salsa. Or make egg muffins, fill them with veggies, maybe a little meat, pair with some fruit and a slice of whole wheat toast.
You can make multiples of these ahead of time. We can put them in a freezer bag, and then we just grab one out each morning, pop it in the microwave.
You can spice up lunch boxes too. Sherry says making your own Lunchable can make it more nutritious. Roll up some low-sodium lunch meat and cheese, add whole wheat crackers and some nut butter, plus a veggie and some sliced fruit. Or send them to school with some leftover pasta. Pair it with some sliced veggies and hummus to dip, along with the fruit. Chicken salad is also a healthy lunch alternative. Pair with sliced apple and some veggies and whole wheat crackers. Finally, have them wash these meals down with water.
Leave those sugary beverages at home. Let's just go ahead and do water for hydration.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Parents can also find more healthy breakfast and lunch ideas online.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 93 degrees today, another day where we perspire. Like the song goes, we're sweating to the oldies. Our high today managed to get up to 94. That's not bad because we've been, well into the upper 90s. Obviously no rain showers today, but there are a few rolling around out there. We'll take a look at that and look at the tropics coming up in a moment. Well, it just takes maybe 5 minutes, not even 2 minutes, to be outdoors and you just feel all that perspiration on you. So you can imagine folks that are having to work out there. It's pretty rough. And I wish I could tell you there was going to be a big change coming, but it looks like it's going to be like that for a while now. Yesterday, we had this little frontal system up here somewhere in central Texas, and that sort of helped that line of storms that came through our area. Well, that line of storms actually helped blow that out into the Gulf. As a result, we had a generally dry day, but late this afternoon, a few little showers are beginning to pick up. As I mentioned earlier, this high pressure is going to be the big heat wave over the southern half of the country, but generally over the southwest. So places that are normally hot are going to be really, really hot for the next couple of days. But that little front also helped bring the end of the big heat wave back east. Now here we are right about now. There's a shower up north of Edna. There's also one down here coming off the coast right there, not far from Refugio. You're going to get a little shower right about in about 10 minutes, okay? You're going to get a little shower rolling through there, but that will all dissipate as the sun goes down. And tomorrow, well, we continue with the heat index above 105. As I've said before, 105 is the threshold. That's when we start saying, okay, it's time to take care of yourself. So don't overdo it through the next 5 days. Still, we continue with our heat index above 105, and 110 is when we really just tell everybody just stay indoors. Now, all of a sudden, the tropics are getting a little bit active. Right about here is a system that could develop within the next 5 days. But the good news is that one is going to go in that direction. So it's already north of the 30th parallel, and we'll talk about that one later. Dexter, that formed this past weekend, is going to continue rolling out to sea. Not a problem with Dexter. It's right here. Now, there's nothing there right now. There's nothing formed, but several computer models, including the European and the American, are spinning up a low, which will then spin up into a storm, which will then develop and move probably onto, I'm going to say, either Florida or the Carolinas or somewhere on the Atlantic coast. But that's about 5 to 6 days from now. But let's just say that we want to let you know, this is not, you know, an idle chatter here. This is for real deal, because we've seen it develop on the computer models over and over and over again. So the likelihood of that happening is pretty high. And so we want everybody to just know that. But at this point in time, it looks like something along the east coast of the United States. Well, elsewhere across the country, you'll notice the big dome that is over the southwest. You see it over there? And we're part of it a little bit. But then we get a sort of an in and an out. We sort of ebb and flow with the high pressure. So it goes above us and then below us and above us and below us. But the punchline is places like, you know, El Paso to Tucson, whoa, they're going to be looking at 110 to 115 degree weather over the next few days. Another thing that has been factored in is the amount of dust that we're still getting. As you know, we've had a lot. And, you know, will that enhance or inhibit that storm that's out there in the Atlantic? We'll watch 93 isolated showers tomorrow afternoon, and there you see a sprinkle or two tomorrow, and then less on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We just get plain old sunny and hot as we move our temperatures back up to the upper 90s. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Shauna.
Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, new federal rules could expand drone flights, the change that could also revolutionize deliveries. The three major indexes fall on Wall Street as the market digests earnings and Trump tariffs. The Dow down 62 points, the S&P 500 down 31 points, and the Nasdaq down 137 points. Oil is down 65 cents to $65.17 per barrel. American businesses imported a lot less in June, down $12.6 billion, with consumer goods making up most of the drop. That's around the time that higher tariffs kicked in, making foreign-made products more expensive. Many businesses had already stocked up ahead of time, which also slowed imports. Exports also dipped slightly, but with fewer retaliatory tariffs than expected. Overall, the U.S. trade deficit dropped 16% from the previous month. President Trump claimed without evidence that the massive revisions to the latest jobs report constituted a, quote, scam. He also accused one of the top overseers of government statistics of cooking the books in a vendetta against his presidency. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down what the Bureau of Labor Statistics is and how the jobs report really works.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics collects data on a number of key economic concerns and produces critical reports on prices, inflation, and unemployment. The data is then used by businesses, investors, and government organizations like the U.S. Federal Reserve to make critical decisions. But Friday, President Donald Trump abruptly fired the commissioner of the BLS, Dr. Erica McIntarfer, accusing her of rigging the latest jobs report for political purposes. Former BLS Commissioner William Beach, nominated by Trump in his first term, says that's impossible.
The commissioner doesn't do anything to collect the numbers. What I think really upset the president on Friday were the revisions to May and June.
The BLS's initial monthly jobs estimates are often based on incomplete data, so they are revised twice after the initial report, followed by a preliminary annual revision in August and a final revision in February.
BLS is the finest statistical agency in the entire world. Its numbers are trusted all over the world.
The BLS collects jobs data in two separate surveys. The first is done in part with old-fashioned door knocking. A second survey is collected from thousands of businesses and government agencies via telephone, internet surveys, and for large corporations through an automated data transfer.
The president's attack on the commissioner and on the Bureau could undermine that trust over the long term.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
The Trump administration is moving forward with new rules that could let drones fly beyond the operator's line of sight. That would open the door for doorstep deliveries. The proposal, just announced by the Transportation Secretary and FAA chief, had been delayed for months after Congress called for it last year. But companies like Google's Wing are already testing delivery drones with partners like DoorDash and Walmart. The public has 60 days to weigh in before the rules move forward. Well, still to come, a tiny time change could affect your technology. The Earth phenomenon behind it is coming up.
Triggering air quality alerts from Texas to the Northeast. New York City's air quality among the worst in the world. Plus, the House Oversight Committee issues subpoenas for the Jeffrey Epstein files. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
We call the first day of winter the shortest day of the year. That's where we're talking about sunshine. Today, the day is predicted to actually be a tiny bit shorter than 24 hours, literally a shorter day by 1 1/3 milliseconds.
That's pretty quick.
Scientists say the Earth is spinning a little bit faster, probably because of changes in its liquid core and atmosphere. This is not the first time. It happened a few times this year already, with the shortest day so far actually on July 10th. While these tiny, minuscule differences seem small, they can eventually impact computers, satellites, and telecom systems that need super precise timing.
Yeah, but 0.3 milliseconds. First of all, who calculated that?
I don't know, but it's my excuse that there was not enough time in the day to get everything done.
And there goes your millisecond.
Yes. If I would have had that.
If we had had that millisecond, we would have made it.
A portion of a millisecond, I would have gotten it all done.
Well, I'm happy that we're getting shorter days, because that means that someday soon it'll be fall, because this summer is going to be a long one for the books. Looking, of course, at hot weather for the next couple of days. It's a little steamy out there, and our heat index will be quite high for the next couple of days. But even though we have a few showers possible tomorrow, as we get into the coming weekend, we're just going to look for sunny and hot weather. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, the tropics are beginning to get a little active. I wouldn't get too worried about it. I don't want to certainly scare you, but my job is to tell you if anything moves in the Atlantic, I'm going to tell you about it, because it does have some potential on the United States mainland.
At least be in the know. But
exactly.
A silver lining, though, I have to say, at least we haven't been seeing these kind of temperatures until now, not all summer.
But I'm thinking, how long is August? It's less than 30
September,
days.
October.
I just know that the kids are doing band practice, so it's almost time for school.
That's right, and football practice.
That's right.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6.